YouTube, what's up? It's Graydon Bulick back here with another episode of the Graydon Bulick Show. Hope you're doing all right. Hope this video finds you well. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Halfway through the work week. Just a few more days to the weekend. Be sure to hang in there. Grind it out. Finish the week strong. We are now to 16 subscribers, up 2 from last week, which is big time. Really appreciate all the subs. All the likes, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully you're sharing this with a friend to reach that goal of 20 subscribers by the end of the year in January 1, 2022. If we do hit that goal, I've got a little bit of a surprise coming for you guys. So hopefully you'll be able to check that out then when that happens. But we're not there yet. We're close. Like I said, just 4 more by the end of the year. I'm excited to be able to work on something kind of behind the scenes for y'all. So be sure to share it with a friend and make sure we hit that goal. So in this video, I'm really going to be talking about some high school football, some stuff I got to cover last week. I'll talk a little bit about what I get to do this week, a little bit about college football, and some craziness that happened there today in the college football playoff rankings. Some teams got snubbed, some teams are higher than they expected to be. So we'll break down all of that here in a little bit. And then also the NFL. I'm going to start watching Sunday night. The Sunday night matchups this week was the Cowboys at the Vikings. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. Some craziness in that game with a backup quarterback and Amari Cooper catching the game-winning touchdown, just stuff like that. So I'll break down that game with you here in this video. Again, thank you to the new subscribers. If you haven't hit that sub button, go ahead and hit that sub button real quick. Share it with a friend, like the video, and let's get into it. So this last week with the Oklahoma Sports Network, I got to travel to my hometown, Elgin, Oklahoma, and cover my old high school. The Elgin Owls take on their arch rival, the Cash Bulldogs. It was a crazy game. They didn't get to play it last year, so this was kind of a revamped Battle of the Wichitas, you could say, since they didn't get to play in 2020 due to COVID. But it was a classic Battle of the Wichitas, classic rivalry game. Both teams don't like each other, got chippy at times. It was a really fun atmosphere. Really good game. Both teams have been up and down all year, but Elgin was able to win the game 37-15. But the game was a lot closer than it seemed. Elgin was able to pull away early in the game with their passing. Trace Laura finished the game with 4 total touchdowns, had 2 passing, 2 rushing, a total of 248 passing yards, which is a big game for him. Michael Adesola had 2 touchdowns. One of those was a receiving touchdown. The other one was a pick 6, and he also had 146 receiving yards on only 6 catches. So that kind of shows you what the Elgin offense looked like all night long. But Cash was really able to come back in that third quarter, and late in the fourth, they had an interception with about 2.5 minutes left. But as I mentioned earlier, a pick 6 came not a few plays after that from Michael Adesola and the Owls to really seal it. At that point, it was only a 2-possession ball game, and Cash seemed to be on the drive, ready to come knocking at the door. But the Elgin defense, which stood tall all night long, was able to pull out a win for the Owls. Chalmer Wyatt, head coach of the Owls, he's in his 3rd year, was able to secure his first win over the Bulldogs. And he just kind of spoke about his team and how excited he was for them and how proud he was and how hard his team played. I'll roll a little clip here of what the aftermath of that game was like. Just take a look. This game, again, was huge for Elgin. This was the first time Elgin beat Cash in 4 years since 2017. It was really a statement for the program and where they want to go next year. I know they're out of the playoffs right now, But next year they're going to look to revamp and come back even stronger. Very young team. Like I mentioned, Trace Lawyer, he's a freshman quarterback. This is his first year as a high schooler, so he's got 3 more years after this one to really improve and to get the Owls back to where they used to be playing at. And so I'm very excited to see where this Owl team goes. Cash is also on a downhill slope. They beat 2 5A schools at the beginning of the year, but have played tough all season long, and it's just not come together for them just yet. But neither team is going to make it to the playoffs this year, so their season will be over next Friday. This Friday, excuse me. But it was really cool to go back and to be able to witness that atmosphere again and be able to witness that game. This next week, I'll be heading to Carnegie at Apache. Both schools have been fighting for a playoff spot all year long. It's a final district game of the year. Playoffs are just around the corner, so you'll want to stay tuned to oksportsnet.com, and I'll put the link in the description of this video, so be sure to check it out there. But you can find all of my articles from throughout the season under the news tab, and you'll be able to find my articles there. So college football has been crazy this year, with teams going undefeated that maybe we didn't think about, teams losing that we never expected, such as Alabama losing to A&M, Georgia coming out of nowhere staying 8-0 with that defense. The defense has been unreal all year long. It's been continuing to pull them out of games and win them ball games with a 5-star defense. From top to bottom. I mean, just an unbelievable group of athletes that play for that Georgia defense. But the college football rankings, playoff rankings, just came out Tuesday night, and that was the first one. So I'll read off the top 6. So the first 4 in, and then the last 2 out. So number 1 is Georgia, 8-0. They played Florida last week, won 34-7. They'll play Missouri this week. Alabama comes off a bye week. They're 7-1 right now. They play LSU this next week. Michigan State, 8-0, just beat the rival Michigan 37-33. They go to Purdue this weekend. And number 4, Oregon, they're 7-1. They beat Colorado 52-29 last week, and they'll play Washington this weekend. Now the first team out, Ohio State, 7-1. They played Penn State and beat a struggling Penn State team that really seemed to hang around with the Buckeyes this last weekend. They won 33-24. They head to Nebraska on Saturday. And then the second team out is Cincinnati. A lot of people expected Cincinnati to remain in the top 5, even maybe potentially the top 4. A lot of analysts giving them a lot of credit for what they've done over the last few years in the American, and deservedly so. They've handled their conference. They've remained undefeated. They've beat teams they should have been beaten. They beat Notre Dame this year, a team that was supposed to just dominate Cincinnati. So, I mean, it's been a rocky road for the Bearcats, and they seem to be doing all the right things, but they're not really getting the credit. Again, this is the first college football playoff ranking, so we'll see how that really falls going into the next couple weeks as we wind down the season. But the next 2 teams, number 7 and 8, which are really interesting, Michigan and Oklahoma. Oklahoma is 9-0 right now. They beat Texas Tech. Their defense showed up in a ball game. I know it was a understaffed a team that just lost their head coach, Texas Tech, but they won that game 52-27. 52-21. So it's really interesting seeing the committee give a couple spots to a 1-loss team over an undefeated team who's taking care of business. Yes, they've been in close ball games all year, but good teams find a way to win. And Oklahoma's continued to do that game in and game out. They haven't had a bye week yet. Like I said, this weekend will be their one and only bye week for the year. And then they have a gauntlet. They have the next 3 best teams in the Big 12, all with 1 loss. Iowa State, and then they play Baylor in 2 weeks, Iowa State in 3, and then they finish the year in Stillwater at Oklahoma State for Bedlam. It's going to be a tough road for the Sooners, but barring everything goes, I mean, they're undefeated. They've ran the table. They've won the Big 12 regular season. They'll have to win the championship, obviously, to remain undefeated, but the Sooners have done everything they can to really get where they're supposed to be, and the committee's, going to make it tough for them, just like they do every year. It seems the Sooners tend to lose a ball game, but this year they've remained undefeated, and they're not even in the top six. So it'll be really interesting. I mean, Michigan's a really good team. They just lost to Michigan State, a big rivalry game. Michigan State's also undefeated at 8-0. So it's going to be an interesting, crazy college football as college football season as the rest of the year begins to wind down, but everything seems to be gaining momentum towards that playoff. Hopefully in the next few years we won't have to go too crazy about the Final Four, because there will be, maybe potentially 8 teams up to 12 teams. So there's a lot of different moving parts going on here, but top 4, Georgia, Alabama, Michigan State, and Oregon. That's your top 4 for the first college football playoff rankings. As the season goes along, we're going to be able to talk about everything that's happening in the college football world and different things like that. So you're not going to want to miss out. Man, this has been an amazing college football season so far. If you like football at all, whether you're the craziest, most in-depth statistician and love the stats and follow every single game, or you're just the most casual fan, you've enjoyed every second of this college football season. And me personally, I can't wait to see how this thing unfolds. Up next, and finally, the NFL, the National Football League. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be watching the Sunday night games more consistently. I used to not really be an NFL guy, but the older I've gotten, the more I've come to really understand and understand the game a whole lot more and be able to enjoy what I'm watching. And this Sunday did not disappoint. It was the Dallas Cowboys heading to Minnesota to face the Vikings without their star quarterback, Dak Prescott, who had a calf strain. He did work out pregame, and he looked good. He looked fine. Nothing looked out of the ordinary, but the coaches still sat him. The Cowboys training staff and him both agreed that, let's just rest it. And Cooper Rush, who's been Dak's backup all year long. Cooper Rush, who's played only in like 4 NFL games up to this point, only threw like 3 or 4 passes, got his first NFL start on Sunday night against the Vikings in Minnesota, which is never a tough or never an easy place to win, always tough, facing Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, those unbelievable players for the Vikings. So to really get into the game, in the first quarter, an early touchdown from Kirk Cousins to Adam Thielen got the scoring started. And from then on, it really looked like the Vikings ball game. Heading into halftime, the Cowboys would be down 10-3 with only a field goal from Zerline in the second quarter. But to start the third quarter, Dallas came out firing with a 73-yard touchdown pass from Cooper Rush to Cedric Wilson, which really got the ball rolling for Dallas. The momentum seemed to shift at that moment. The Vikings would score a field goal, but then they'd only score one more. Dallas would get another field goal, and then a 5-yard pass from Cooper Rush to Amari Cooper with 51 seconds left to win the ball game. Dallas was down 3 with 51 seconds to go, and Cooper Rush decided to deliver an amazing pass. Amari Cooper with another amazing catch. He had a juggling catch earlier that drive to extend it. I mean, it was crazy. Dallas was able to get the win without Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush into the game with 325 yards, completed 24 or 40 passes, 2 touchdowns. Did throw an interception, but it didn't seem to hurt him. It wasn't really his fault. It was a tip pass. It was kind of a crazy deal. Now, Ezekiel Elliott only had 16 carries for 50 yards. He did have a huge third down rush to extend that Cowboys drive and eventually set up the touchdown to win the ball game. But it was a very impressive team win by the Cowboys. We'll see, obviously Dak Prescott is going to make that team 10 times better. But Cooper Rush proved he could do it. If Dak needs to sit even longer, which is a potential, they're really going to see how that goes with Dak and how he feels over the next few weeks. But the Cowboys are 5-1, the first in the NFC East. Now people are like, "Oh, the NFC East, they're never that good." And honestly, you're right. I think the next big team is like 3-5. So yes, the NFC East has been consistently down over the last few years. But the Cowboys are good. I think the Cowboys are for real. I'm not going to call them Super Bowl champs, but next week, I will give you my Super Bowl prediction. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Who's gonna be there at the end of the year? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll read a few ones that I think are pretty solid picks. Maybe even some crazy ones. I'll let you know. But yeah, leave me your comments down below just to let me know what's going on. But yeah, Cowboys playing great so far. They're 5-1 right now. We'll see how the season unfolds. Still very early. Now we have an extra week in the NFL now. So it's going to be a crazy year just like college football. But I'll let you know next week about the next Sunday night game and kind of give you my takes the rest of the year on Sunday night. So I'm interested to see what happens the rest of the way. And yeah, just let me know in the comments what you think. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? And I'll let you know my Super Bowl pick next week. All right, everybody, that kind of wraps up the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you weren't able to watch it, you were driving, doing something crazy, just listening to the video. I appreciate it. We're at 16 subscribers right now. Again, 4 away from our goal of 20 by the end of the year. So be sure to share it with people. Make sure you like the video. Let people know what's going on over here at The Grady Buick Show. And with all that being said, tell someone you love them, tell them you care about them, and tell them that you're always there for them. This is Grady Buick signing off for The Grady Buick Show. Catch you on the next one. Y'all have a great day.